And even as India continues to roar post-Operation Sindoor, Pakistan is now scrambling to gather international backing. In that effort, Turkish President Erdogan met with Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif in Istanbul, aiming to boost bilateral cooperation. At the same time, Pakistan's army chief was in talks with Turkey's defense minister. The agenda: strengthening defense ties, expanding economic cooperation, and exploring tourism development. But this isn't the first show of support from Turkey. During the India-Pakistan conflict, Turkey reportedly supplied nearly 400 drones to Pakistan, including Bayraktar TB2s, YIHA and Somgar units used in strikes on Indian military sites. Turkish military advisors were involved in planning those operations, with reports of Turkish personnel killed in action. And when India responded, Erdogan dismissed the strikes as civilian martyrdom, doubling down on Turkey's unwavering support for Pakistan on Kashmir. And my colleague Pranay Upadhyay is now joining us with more details on this. Pranay, a very good morning to you. Tell us more about the meeting that Turkish President and Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif had, and what message does this send out globally?
Good morning, Anjali. And as you could make out, that Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, along with Field Marshal Asim Munir, is on a gratitude tour. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's first international stop on his four-nation tour, which includes Iran, Azerbaijan, and Tajikistan and Turkey, was Istanbul. And in Istanbul, he had a meeting with Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who's the president of Turkey. And this high-level Security Cooperation Council meeting was taking place there in Istanbul, but you could make out that how important Turkey's role was there with Pakistan as far as this India-Pakistan conflict was concerned, because they, as you mentioned, that Turkey has supplied a great number of drones to Pakistan, and not only drones, but a number of armament of Pakistan has, it's credit to Turkey. And Turkey has not only supplied arms and weapons and ammunition to Pakistan, but also gave them a moral support in the international platforms, because be it OIC, be it United Nations, Turkey has echoed Pakistan's stand on Kashmir, has echoed Pakistan's stand as far as India-Pakistan tensions are concerned. So therefore, Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif went to Istanbul, had a meeting with him. And this is a very rare visual, Anjali, that Prime Minister and a Pakistani army chief was there in the meeting with the Turkish president. This clearly shows how important Turkey's role was there in India-Pakistan conflict. And as Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif himself mentioned, that he was there to express his gratitude to President Erdogan for his support in India-Pakistan conflict. And he did not acknowledge Turkey's role in making peace with India. Rather, he acknowledged Turkey's role in supplying arms and ammunition. And they did discuss the defense cooperation, intelligence sharing, counterterrorism cooperation, and economic cooperation with Turkey in this meeting. So this clearly shows his priorities and Turkey's stand as far as India-Pakistan tensions are concerned, as far as the Kashmir issue is concerned. You would recall, Anjali, that India was one of the first to respond during the humanitarian crisis of Turkey when Turkey was hit by a devastating earthquake in 2023. However, we have seen that in return, Turkey did not respond. Turkey did not acknowledge that contribution. Rather, Turkey decided to stand with Pakistan, and that too in this conflict, which was induced by a ghastly terror attack in Pahalgam. And
right.
Even thereafter, yeah.
Right, Pranay, thank you for getting us those details.